Hello, my loves. We're back with the You Deserve Better podcast where we are cutting the crap. We're, reconnecting back to ourselves deeper than ever before with a real understanding of who we are, what we want out of life, what we deserve. It's the whole self-love empowerment space and I love it. I am so fired up lately, I just wanted to let you know I recently quit my job. Well, I left my job. It was a planned thing. I think I've mentioned it before. It was never meant to be long term. But I've gone all in on my business, on this venture, with just this sheer knowing of I'm on the right path. It's scary, don't get me wrong, but this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm meant to be doing, and I'm following through with it. But yeah, enough of that. I am obviously your host, Rebecca Harrison. You know me well by now, I'm sure. But if this is your first time listening to me, then welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for tuning in and listening and giving me a chance. And we're going to have some fun. I am, of course, a self-love and women's empowerment advocate and coach. I'm a firm believer that the life that we crave, that you crave, it's not just possible, but it is already yours. And your highest level version of yourself is just waiting on the other side for you to connect with you and to go out and get it. I promise you that. It may seem like, yeah, right, but it's there. Yeah? And on that note, today's episode is going to be a little juicy one because honestly, this could just shift your entire reality this episode. We are going to be diving real on deep in there into the actual science behind how your brain is wired. Yeah? It's wired to think, feel, and even manifest exactly what shows up in your life. Your life right now, your reality, your experiences have all been shaped through your brain's wiring. Crazy, right? Yeah? But when we realize that, we can kind of think, okay, so just look at your life right now, reflect upon it. Are you happy with it? Is there areas that you would change? Yeah? Is there areas that you just like, oh my gosh, yes, this was me. I created this. I'm so proud of me. Or is there areas that maybe, no, it's the government's fault. It's my neighbour's fault. Or it's because of this asshole, Yes, these experiences come along to challenge us. We do go through difficulties, don't we? That's without a doubt. But they also shape our character. They create our identity. When we have this understanding of how our brain works and how a lot of the things that we go through and the experiences that we have been through a lot of ingrained beliefs or experiences or perceptions, thoughts, feelings, whatever, this is where we can actually take the power back. When we realize that, when we have that understanding, this is our time to take our power back. Yeah? You have that power. I have that power. We all do. So on this episode today, we're actually going to be talking, it's very science geeky tech, yeah. I'm going all in. I've done so much research on this. I mean, anyway, I'm already a bit of a nerd when it comes to the brain, but I've done a lot of research to make sure that I'm sharing the right evidence with you guys as well. But we're going to be talking about all things like neural pathways, the RAS, which is the reticular activating system, generational conditioning, and of course, we're going to be speaking about how we can rewire our mind to experience more love, joy, abundance, and that freaking unshakable confidence that so many of us desire and deserve to have. So, wherever you are listening to me today, you could be on your morning walk out in the sunshine. Maybe you're sat in your pajamas, sipping on your coffee. You might be laying in your bed in your lazy girl era. Maybe you're on your drive into work. Wherever you are, get ready because we're going to have an incredible episode. This is going to be so much fun, so strap on in. Okay, so we're going to start here. Firstly, I just want to acknowledge that you are not broken in any way, shape or form. So when I questioned before about how life is and whether you'd change anything, whether there's some circumstances that really aren't how you would like them to be, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you, but your brain is just simply been patterned. Yeah? So from the very moment that we are born, our minds, they're kind of like sponges, okay? So we quite literally absorb everything that we see, that we hear, and we experience. That's especially so between the ages of 0 and 7. These years, they form the blueprint for how we view the world. So when you think of those years, they are crucial, aren't they? And who are we often around the most in those years? Our parents, yeah? Our parents, our caregivers. So can you appreciate how the childhood that we had, it has shaped our entire brain and created our values, our beliefs, our patterns, and our conditioning. But also the little bit of that time is also going into school and socialising with our peers, with other adults, being out and about as well. There's a lot of influence, and we are literally just taking everything at face value at that age. Everything that comes in, we just believe. It just goes straight into our subconscious mind as a belief, and then we remember that forever and ever, amen. So what I believe now as a 34-year-old is the stuff that I was taught or saw or heard when I was 2, 3, 4. It went into my brain, it's there. Now, I've been doing a lot of work on this in the last few years, but especially this year, more so on these patterns and these beliefs and these quite often limiting beliefs that aren't actually ours, but we hold on to. I'm wanting to create a reality for myself that is different from, my families or my friends or what have you. I have had to rewire my mindset, my beliefs, and work hard on overcoming a lot of patterns or difficult experiences that I've been through that have since tainted my vision. So even, for example, the breakdown of my marriage, that's affected my perspective of love, of men, of relationships. That's tainted me. Now that's even as an adult, but you could actually delve further into that on your relationships when you was younger. Your relationships with your parents, the love that you were surrounded with as a child. Again, what you heard, what you saw, what you was around. So often a lot of the experiences that we're having now, we can pinpoint way back into our past where a similar, or maybe not even a similar experience, but some sort of experience has happened that has created a reality well into our future. I hope I've not lost you with that, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of work on this, and do you know what? It's working, and whether that be through a heck of a lot of, journaling, meditation, breath work, but also it's delving on into our beliefs and actually listening to my brain and what I am trying to tell myself a lot of the times, going right on deep in there, not those loud voices that sort of shout at you and tell you how you want to feel, but it's going deeper. So when you feel a certain way, what is your body, your mind, your soul, your subconscious really trying to tell you here? I appreciate this might be quite a heavy episode. You may have to listen to it a few times, but it's powerful. I swear to you, it is powerful. And if you take on board a lot of this information that I'm going to give to you today and apply it, you could change your entire life, because you're going to rewire your brain to however you want to believe, okay? So, yeah, like I said, so between the ages of 0 and 7, crucial to understanding our brain's patterning and wiring, okay? So let's say, for example, if love to you felt conditional, or maybe emotions weren't safe to express for you, maybe you felt like you had to hold things in, yeah, or you had to be perfect to feel loved, or it was, conditional, whether it was just on your birthday that you felt wanted. Or if you were surrounded by chaos, whether that be a toxic environment, unhealthy environment, toxic people, arguing, shouting, maybe lots of moves, there could be anything. And this is, again, I just want to point out, actually, before we move forward, this isn't about blame. We're not blaming our parents and our caregivers or our upbringing. It's about acknowledging. So, yeah, I have childhood trauma from my past. from my mum, from my dad, from my peers, from the people around me in my life, from my past. And that's that's a fact. And I had a beautiful upbringing. Childhood trauma could be as simple as no one wanting to play with you on the playground and being left out. And I can definitely remember that from my childhood, 100%. I can remember, I really hate this, in PE, for example. Back in the day, oh my God, I sound so old. But for PE, you would have to pick people in your team. And I would never get picked. I'd always be the last person. And it would really pain my soul, that would. And I still remember that now. So imagine me as, maybe 6-7-year-old Becky, feeling rejected, abandoned, unwanted. And I wonder why, as 34-year-old Becky, that's something that I still, think about and consider and worry about. I don't really have that issue now because I've worked on it. But for example, I think I've mentioned on episodes in the past, my very first boyfriend, when we split up, I was literally begging him not to leave me, begging him. It was embarrassing looking back now. Like, now I'm kind of like, if someone doesn't want to be with me, fuck off then. I don't need you. If you don't value my presence in your life, that's fine. I know what I bring to the table. I know my worth. I know that I'm an incredible person. And if someone doesn't see that and value that, then they're not meant to be a part of my life. But rewind to 18, 19-year-old me, and my boyfriend was wanting to split up with me. Oh my God, it was the absolute most horrendous situation ever. Yeah, and even rewind 5 years to when my ex-husband walked out on me. And I thought my life was over. I can sort of link the two together, that I felt just so abandoned, so unwanted, so rejected as a child. So no wonder I'm going to experience that now. That's just one example, by the way. But, so as I was saying about how I've recently left my job. So those of you who didn't know, I used to work with Fortalis, just left. And Fortalis is a domestic abuse charity. And I was specifically working with the children and young people that have been in those environments, in those damaging, quite frankly, environments where there has been domestic abuse in the home. Someone who has been brought up in that chaotic environment from a young age, the impact that it has on their brain, their development, and what they class as normal and okay, and then form those own patterns and behaviours well into their future in adulthoods. Okay, so these are just a couple of examples there for you, but there's so much more, and we'll delve more into that soon. But in a lot of these situations where, love felt like you had to earn it, if you didn't feel safe to cry or express, and if you was surrounded by complete chaos, your nervous system and your brain, it adapts to survive. Because, as I've mentioned before, we are hardwired to simply survive. That's what our brain naturally turns to, survival instinct, yeah? And that served us very well back in the cavemen days, where it was life or death. We did have to be a part of the pack to feel safe and be protected and not starve to death or be eaten by lions or whatever. That served us well. But as human beings have adapted and changed in our lifestyles and everything, our brain hasn't quite caught up. And it's always in that survival instinct, as though we're going to die, as though we're having to hunt for food, and if you don't eat, you're going to starve. We're so blessed in that sense, but our brains are still acting like those cavemen days, okay? But yeah, so relating it back to these situations, we're having to survive in that environment, aren't we? And so now, even as an adult, our subconscious is running on that old software. Yeah, back when we were 5, 10, a newborn. So at this point, enter in neural pathways. So these are like the roads that we just travel down, the thoughts that keep on coming, the ingrained beliefs that we have. So if every day that you are thinking, I'm not good enough, your brain strengthens that pathway. Yeah? It makes it easier to keep on thinking that. But then this is where the beautiful part is, because your brain is neuroplastic. There's neuroplasticity that we can we can work with here. So that means simply that it can change. It can change, it can adapt. You can literally rewire your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. And that is where it gets exciting, okay? This is where the RAS comes into play, the RAS, reticular activating system. And basically, to understand it this way, your brain is constantly processing millions of bits of information at once, okay? Millions, gazillions, whatever. So what you are seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, even how you sat on the chair right now or slumped on the sofa, yeah? But you're not consciously aware of all of that, are you? But if I was to ask you now, like, what can you smell? Or what can you see? Or how does the fabric on your skin feel? Then you're consciously aware of it. But that's actually happening all the time. Your brain is constantly processing everything that you do. When you get up and brush your teeth, when you're driving your car, when you're making a slice of toast, it's constantly processing. When you're putting your socks on, it's processing it. But you're not consciously aware of all of that, are you? Yeah, your brain, it can't show you everything. we're not that clever. Yeah, it cannot show you everything. So what it does is it filters through all of that. And then it only presents us what it thinks is most important to you specifically. Which is why obviously what is important to one person is different than another. So say 2 people have a car accident today, exact same place, exact same situation, whatever, yeah? They'll react very differently. That's the reticular activating system. That's the wiring of your brain, and your brain is choosing how that feels for you in that moment. Like I said, that filter is the reticular activating system, or RAS. And we have to think of it basically. The RAS, it's like our PA, it's our personal assistant, yeah? So it's listening in on what you've been thinking, what you've been speaking about, what you believe. And then basically what it says is, okay, yeah, so she must want some more of that. Let me show her more. Yeah, so let's, for example, say that your dominant focus is I'm not good enough, or people always leave, I'm always getting rejected, or I've always been dumb. I've always been dumb. Yeah. Guess what it highlights? Guess what the brain highlights for you? Is this starting to make any sense? I hope so. But this is where the powerful part is, because this is where you can train your filter. This filter can be trained, yeah? So you can actually rewire what your brain pays attention to, and therefore what you attract and what you believe is possible. By choosing what you focus on and then feeding it that repetition, that consistency, and then feeling the emotion of it and the intention behind it, that is how we are able to almost like take ourselves off of that autopilot that we've been on all this time. Yeah, and we start sort of consciously creating the life that we want, whether that be joy, abundance, and just feeling aligned. We can create that consciously every single day. This is where it gets juicy, yeah. I told you this episode is deep today. I'm getting right on in there with all of the science and everything. I love it though, I love it. I'm obsessed. And if you are as well, I hope you're loving this episode. But listen to this. So we often think that, brainwashing is some sort of extreme experience, or something that happens to you as part of some experimental goings on or something. But honestly, we're actually being programmed. We're being brainwashed every single day. Every single day of our lives. Everything that we consume. The media that you listen to, whether you listen to the news or read the news. Social media that you're scrolling on, the environment. So even going into Asda, the reason that they place certain things in certain areas, it's for selling tactics, or it's because they want to get this sort of scent or this sort of environment. They're creating a feeling within us. The conversations that you're a part of every single day, the people that you surround yourself with, they're all programming us. And that's why our realities are so incredibly different from others. Because we're being programmed so differently dependent upon what we consume and who we're around and what we choose to focus on. So, for example, if your social media feed is filled with, scarcity, about money's running out and global warming, whatever, if it's full of drama, all the people from your school, oh, she's a bitch and he slept with her and they're cheating and whatever, or there's sort of like you surrounded by these toxic relationships in your life, whether that be friendships, family, intimate relationships, this just becomes the norm for you. Yeah, it just becomes so normal. It's normalized. Your brain adapts to, okay, this is her reality. I'll give her more of that. The norm shapes your expectations, especially so when it comes to love and money. And that is why protecting they call it mental diet. Yeah, we need to protect our mental diet. It is just as important as what we eat. We are consuming it through our eyes, our ears, yeah? It is just as important. Your mental diet is just as important as your physical diet, your food diet. So what are you feeding your subconscious every day? Just have a think about that at the moment. Like, have a think of that to yourself. Did you wake up and scroll social media first thing? Did you have a horrible message that you woke up to? Did you listen to the news while you was eating your breakfast? Are you going to work surrounded by a bunch of people that put you down? Are you scrolling on TikTok on your break and it's just full of, oh my gosh, I was on talking to that. I was scrolling on TikTok last night. I don't really go on there much. My algorithm is shit on there because I just don't use it. And last night I was in bits. I did watch it, to be fair. It's my own doing, but I was in bits. It was this husky influencers on there with a husky family, and one of them must have died. And oh my gosh, like the other husky, obviously they brought it in to say goodbye and see the dog that had passed, and oh my god, I was in bits. Imagine if I did that every single day. I'd be so fucking depressed. Yeah, what are you feeding your subconscious daily? Are you around people who lift you up, who push you? Are you listening to motivational podcasts like mine? Are you reading the books that shift your perspective and heighten your awareness and make you question those habits and patterns and your own beliefs? Or are you around people who just, keep you small, put you down? It's not about perfection. We're not aiming for being perfect here, but it's about being aware, isn't it? And understanding, because you do get to choose what goes into your brain. You get to choose your inputs, and then you can rewire it to the truth that you want to create, the reality and truth that you want to experience. Okay, let's just take a shift for a moment, because right now, for example, we are in the Lionsgate season. I've been doing all my meditations in preparation to that Lionsgate opening. This is such a powerful, energetic portal. It's like they describe it as a cosmic amplifier, yeah? So a lot of the intentions that we set, the beliefs that we anchor into right now, that vision that we hold of ourselves, it gets magnified so much more with the Lionsgate portal. And obviously that's heightened, that's at its peak on the 8th of August, 8/8, coming up soon, yeah? But everything is being magnified so much right now. So this is actually a really potent time to reprogram how you see yourself, yeah? So you could choose to embody the most radiant, self-assured version of you. You could choose to stop saying, oh, maybe someday. Oh, that never happens to me. Or I'm always unlucky. And you could actually start saying, you know what, it's already mine. I can do it. I've got this. I'm a powerful badass. It's not just about, as well, because we can get stuck in this, and I myself am guilty of it, but it's not just about, say, manifesting the perfect partner or a job or more money, for example. It's about calling in a frequency, a vibration that you want to align with. And then it's about your brain being on board with that frequency. Yeah? I hope this is all making sense. So these are just like a couple of little like practical steps that you can make. So this is how we can actually begin to start rewiring our mind. And we can do it very gently. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, this is what I need to do. I need to have this complete shift of everything. It takes time, it's gentle, but it's also powerful. The major shifts often happen in the small steps. Yeah, those tiny little habits that we create day to day. For example, we could do a morning RAS activation. Yeah, so before you roll over, you've just woken up, you decide to roll over and check your phone. Rather than doing that, why don't you just say out loud to yourself or in your mind, but affirm, today, I expect to feel supported, loved, magnetic. Show me the evidence. You're putting it out there to the universe of what you expect. You're declaring exactly how you want to feel. And now you're asking for the evidence. And you'll get it, I promise you that. So you're training your filter. So that's first thing in the morning when your brain is most adaptable to those subconscious rewiring, okay? Another one, this is really, really cute, this one, but joy training. Yeah, joy training. So we are finding small ways to spark our joy. It rewires your reward system. Think of a dog and you're training them and you give them a little treat. Or they're just so happy when you come home and they're wagging the tail and they're shaking all around and jumping up and down. Everything's freaking awesome for a dog, isn't it? Yeah? Think back to yourself as a child. Oh, if you're a good girl, I'll buy you some sweets. Or if you do your homework, you can stay up an hour later tonight. We have these rewards, but yet we don't give them ourselves as an adult. Or if we do, it's like, I've had a hard day, I need a glass of wine. Or, I'm lonely, so I'm going to swipe on online dating and see if I can get some validation. That is not healthy reward systems, okay? But think of things like what lights you up. So it could be, having a little dance break. We were talking about intention here. Yeah, so if you've just got 5 minutes, shake it all about, put on some music. So I went to an inner camp retreat a couple of weeks ago. It was absolutely incredible, by the way. But as part of that, if you've not heard of inner camp, it's all the like holosomatic experience, so breath work, energy activation. It just freaking powerful, okay? And I forgot where I'm going with this. Oh yeah. As part of that, like obviously there was a lot of, meditation and breath work and a lot of journaling and, things like that. But in between the sessions, like if we would go on a break and stuff, and then they'd put this music on and we'd all have a little dance. I cannot tell you how the energy in that room just shifted. Everyone's smiling. It was electrifying. It felt incredible. And I do it myself now. Like sometimes I'll just be, and I'm like, I just want to dance and listen to my body. I put on a feel-good song and I dance. Sometimes just for a few minutes, but it makes me feel freaking awesome. Sunshine. So this morning I was sat out in the sunshine. It's a beautiful day here, blue skies. Well, it started clouding over a bit now, actually, but this morning it was blue skies. We just got back from walking the dogs, and I'm sat there by the flower bed in the sunshine. Sun hitting my skin. It was just beautiful. Yeah, natural dopamine, serotonin, vitamin D. And talking of that, fresh flowers. Obviously, I was by the flower bed, but how amazing do you feel when someone buys you flowers? And you're like, oh my God, they're so beautiful, they're my favourite. Or you see some pretty flowers on a walk, or like for me in spring when those blossom trees come out, oh, I'm in heaven. Oh, I love them so much. I just always get sad because they don't last long enough. They're just not around long enough. But fresh flowers, why not buy yourself some flowers? You deserve them. They look so pretty in your house. They smell nice. The energy of the flowers themselves shifts the environment. And yeah, even just music that lights you up. You don't even have to dance. So I have my own manifestation and affirmation playlist on Spotify. And it's full of all feel-good songs that make you just, positive and light you up. And they set those intentions of the sort of energy and feelings and emotions that you want to experience. So these are all just finding those little tiny ways of just sparking joy. Going watching the sunset, looking up at the night sky and seeing the stars. Calling a friend that you've not heard from in a while. Just these beautiful little moments for yourself, So we've got our morning RAS activation and our joy training. But what about this one? What about pattern interruption? So these thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you, they are going to come up regardless. Yeah. So even though I've been doing a lot of work on myself and eradicating these beliefs from me, these doubts or niggling thoughts are still going to come up from time to time, but it's about catching them. So as you know, we're often thinking in our minds constantly. Is it 80,000 thoughts that we have a day or something ridiculous like that? I've forgotten that fact. And about 85% of them, apparently, are negative. And again, that's just our brain focusing on the negative to keep us safe, to protect us from harm, to help us survive. Because that's all it's bothered about, the brain, on us surviving. That's why it wants us to stay comfortable even though we're unhappy. But it's what we're used to. That's why we don't chase our dreams. That's why we don't go after what we want. That's why we settle or stay small. It's just our brain trying to keep us safe. Yeah, but going back to pattern interruption. So you could be thinking, oh, I'm always left on my own. I always end up left on my own. Or why are all the guys the same? Why am I just being fucked about all the time? But actually catch it. When that thought and feeling comes up, just stop. Just pause, take a breath. Even just having that awareness alone is key. You have identified that thought, because a lot of these thoughts are just going around our minds day in, day out, and we're not even really acknowledging them. We're just taking them in and taking them at face value, aren't we? But actually acknowledging them alone is so powerful. But then when we are able to stop ourselves in that moment, take that breath and just say, yeah, that was once true. Oh yeah, that was in the past, that's okay. But I choose differently now. I'm choosing different thoughts now. I'm creating a different reality now. So yes, that was valid, but not anymore. Pattern interruption. And then, of course, a lot of the work that I've been doing is rewriting those core beliefs. In fact, you should do this now. If you have a journal handy, or you could even write them in the notes app on your phone, what you need to do, or if you can't do this right now, if you're driving or you're listening to me at the gym, whatever, whenever you can, I want you to write out your old truths. Yeah? Write out all those beliefs that no longer serve you. Those limiting beliefs, those toxic patterns, those negative thoughts and feelings. Write them out. Write them all out. Don't be afraid of writing them out as well, because we're not affirming them here, because what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be crossing them out. We are literally crossing those beliefs out of our brain, and we are showing ourselves on paper. We are putting pen to paper. Our eyes are seeing it. Our brain is acknowledging it. That we are crossing out those beliefs. They are no longer a part of our life anymore. One of your beliefs, maybe I am too much. We're going to replace that. So we're crossing it out. And instead we're going to rewrite, I am powerful and people appreciate my energy. This is one I've had to work on a lot. I can't make money doing what I love, or making money is hard. Crossing that bitch out. We are crossing that out. We no longer believe that anymore. I'm not taking that on anymore. That was in the past. This is not my future. This is not my present. I no longer believe that. So we're crossing that out. And it becomes, making money is easy when you do what you love. So list them all out. Now, tonight, I don't care when, do it. List those beliefs out that no longer serve you, those old truths that are no longer a part of your life moving forward. List them out, cross them out, and replace them with your new standard and your new expectations, the reality that you wish to create. Okay, this episode I appreciate has probably been a little bit heavy. I've delved a lot into science and self-development and growth at a high level here, as in it takes a lot of understanding and perspective shifts and being open to that, because a limiting belief alone is listening to something like this and thinking, well, easier said than done. Yeah, or yeah, but that's not my reality. I can see that I've £0 in my bank, or I can see the guys that are ghosting me, but it's about understanding and appreciating those patterns, those beliefs that we, in a way, have created, whether we like it or not. All of the good things in our lives we have created, and all of the bad. And, whether you believe that or not, I don't want to fall out over this, but you are in control now. Take that control, take the reins. You have the power to shift your reality, and I want you to be freaking happy and love the shit out of your life. And this is your chance, yeah? So if you're still with me at this point, I just want to remind you that you are not your past. You are not your old programming from way back when, and you're certainly not stuck. You may feel it, but you're not, okay? Your mind is the most powerful tool that you have with you right now. And especially as women, when we partner our mind with that feminine energy, our intuition, our nervous system, we become unstoppable. You become unstoppable. So here's my little invitation for you for the week ahead. I want you to be intentional. I want you to choose your thoughts and your beliefs and your inputs that align with that version of you who already has everything that they desire right now. They're already there. They're waiting. They've got it all. They're waiting for you to step up and claim it. And to do that, it's about being intentional, and it's about choosing exactly how you want to feel and exactly what you want to believe and exactly how you want to show up. Because she's there. She's just waiting on you to align your frequency with her. Oh, this has been a goodie. I love this one. I hope that you guys have too. And if this episode has landed for you, if you've had a light bulb moment, an epiphany moment, if it has even struck a nerve, feel free to share it to your stories. Tag me. Let me know your biggest takeaway, whether that be positive or negative. As always, I do highly appreciate any likes, shares, comments, feedbacks. The only way that this podcast, this community, this movement grows is through you. Without you guys, there would be none of this. I would appreciate any form of love that you can give on getting this message out there in some way, shape or form, whether that be sharing with a friend, tagging me in your stories, popping a comment down below. Anything that you can do to help this movement does not go unnoticed. And I will love you forever and ever. And also, as you know, I do have my one-to-one containers. I specifically work with women who are going through heartbreak, divorce, breakup. I support you through that journey and help you get from A to B and help you get to that highest level version of yourself, so that a lot of this becomes your norm, it becomes your baseline. So if you are feeling called to take any of this work deeper, my one-to-one coaching spaces are open. We go very deep, but we rewire. We release the past and we move forward. We rise on up. So if you're ready for that, I'm here for you always. And feel free to reach out in the DMs. My Instagram is You Deserve Better Podcast, and my DMs are always open. And I'm here to chat with you and root for you because you truly do deserve it. But until next time, keep showing up for you. Keep showing up for that version of yourself who's waiting on the other side. Align with her. She's waiting for you because you know deep down that you truly do deserve better. Always. So much love, you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will speak to you on the next episode.